The phone buzzed on the nightstand. At first, Maya didn't bother checking it. It was nearly midnight, and she had an early morning ahead. But when the buzzing turned into a relentless series of notifications, she groaned and grabbed the phone. Oh, it was a text from her own number. Maya, don't leave the house tomorrow at 8:15 a.m. She frowned, half asleep. Weird prank, she muttered, tossing the phone aside. It vibrated again. I know you're thinking this is a joke. It's not. Trust me, I'm you. Her heart skipped. The text wasn't just strange, it was unsettling. She stared at the screen, trying to rationalize it. Maybe someone cloned her number? Another buzz. You'll understand soon. Please, Maya, stay home at 8:15. Okay, this is getting creepy, she whispered. Maya turned off her notifications and went back to sleep, determined to shake off the bizarre encounter. The next morning, sunlight poured through her blinds as she rushed to get ready for work. The text lingered in her mind, but logic prevailed. It was nonsense. She wasn't about to let a random message disrupt her day. As she stepped outside, the crisp morning air greeted her. She glanced at her watch. 8:12 a.m. Just as she reached the curb, her phone buzzed again. It's 8:12. Go back inside, now! She froze, her stomach knotting. Before she could reply, a loud screech pierced the air. Maya whipped around to see a car barreling down the street, spinning out of control. Her breath caught. It careened toward her. She stumbled backward, tripping onto the pavement, just as the car veered into the curb she'd been standing on. Glass shattered, metal crunched, then silence. Maya sat there, trembling. The driver's door opened, and a man staggered out, bleeding but alive. His eyes widened when he saw her. Are you okay? He shouted. She nodded numbly, her mind racing. If she hadn't moved. Her phone buzzed again. Her hands shook as she picked it up. I told you. The air felt heavy, suffocating. Her future self, or whoever this was, had saved her life. But why? And how did they know? Maya stared at the screen as a final text appeared. This is only the beginning. Maya's nights were restless after the car crash. She couldn't stop thinking about the texts. If she had ignored them, she wouldn't be alive. But who or what was sending them? The next day, she stared at her phone, debating whether to block the number. Before she could decide, it buzzed again. You're running out of time. The next step is crucial. Her stomach tightened. Don't meet Ellie tonight. She's lying to you. Ellie, Maya's best friend since college. The one person who had been there for her through everything. Why would she lie? She typed a reply, her fingers trembling. Who are you? Why should I believe you? The response came instantly. You'll find out soon. But if you ignore this warning, you'll regret it. Maya felt anger rising in her chest. This couldn't be real. She wasn't going to let a stranger or some messed up prank control her life. That evening, she met Ellie at their favorite cafe. As they sipped coffee, Ellie's smile seemed a little too forced, her laughter a touch too hollow. Are you okay? Maya finally asked. Ellie hesitated. I've been meaning to tell you something, but I didn't know how. Maya's heart raced. What is it? Ellie reached into her bag, pulling out a worn envelope. She slid it across the table. Maya opened it, her hands shaking. Inside was a printed email exchange. Her name was mentioned multiple times, alongside words like inheritance and forgery. Her vision blurred. What is this? She whispered. Ellie's eyes darted to the side. I was desperate. I didn't think you'd ever find out. You forged my name? Maya's voice cracked, a mix of disbelief and betrayal. Ellie reached out. Maya, I'm sorry. I needed the money. I was going to fix it, I swear. Maya stood, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. Without another word, she left the cafe, tears streaming down her face. As she walked home, her phone buzzed again. I told you, she's not who you think she is. Maya wanted to scream. Her life felt like it was unraveling, thread by thread. The worst is yet to come. Tonight, lock your doors. Don't let anyone in. Maya's pulse quickened. Another warning, another cryptic message. But this time, she didn't question it. She bolted her doors, closed the blinds, and sat in the dark with her phone clutched tightly. Around midnight, there was a knock at the door. "Maya, it's me, Ellie. Please, I need to explain." Her heart pounded. She stayed silent. "Maya, come on, open the door." Ellie's voice grew frantic. The phone buzzed. "Don't!" Maya's breaths came in shallow gasps as Ellie's knocking turned into pounding. "I know you're in there. Open the door." And then as suddenly as it started, the noise stopped. Maya peeked through the blinds. The porch was empty, but a shadow lingered near the streetlight, watching her. Her phone buzzed one last time that night. "You're safe for now, but they won't stop." The episode ends with Maya staring at the shadowy figure outside, tears of fear and confusion streaming down her face. The shadow outside her house haunted Maya. Every night since Ellie's betrayal, she felt eyes on her, as if someone or something was waiting for her to make a mistake. Her phone became a lifeline. The texts from her future self, cryptic as they were, had saved her twice now. But with every message, the fear grew stronger. What if she didn't follow through? What if she couldn't stop what was coming? The next text arrived at dawn. "They're coming for you today. Trust no one, not even me." Maya stared at the message, her chest tightening. Trust no one? Not even her future self? Before she could respond, the doorbell rang. "Maya," a voice called. It was Ellie. "Please, I just want to talk." Maya's hands shook as she backed away from the door. She didn't trust Ellie anymore. But what if Ellie knew something? The phone buzzed again. "Don't let her in. She's part of it." Part of what? Maya's head spun as the pounding on the door grew louder. "I'm calling the police," she shouted, hoping it would scare Ellie away. Silence followed. Then the doorbell chimed again. "Maya, it's Officer Grayson," a man's voice said. "Your friend called us. She's worried about you. Can we come in?" Her breath hitched. Officer Grayson. She didn't know any Officer Grayson. Her phone buzzed. "They're lying. Don't open the door." Sweat trickled down her temple. The pounding resumed, now more aggressive. "Maya, we know you're in there. Open up." Her phone vibrated again, but this time the text wasn't from her future self. It was from an unknown number. "Don't trust the messages. They're manipulating you. Open the door before it's too late." Her hands trembled as she read it. "Who do I trust?" she whispered, tears pooling in her eyes. The phone buzzed once more. "If you let them in, you'll die. Run now." Panic consumed her. She grabbed her bag and bolted out the back door, not even stopping to look behind her. The woods behind her house were dark and uninviting, but she didn't care. She ran until her lungs burned, her legs threatening to give out. When she finally stopped, she leaned against a tree, gasping for air. The phone buzzed again. "You're safe for now, but there's one last thing you need to know." She hesitated before unlocking the screen. "This isn't about saving you. It's about saving me." The blood drained from her face. What did that mean? Suddenly she heard footsteps, twigs snapping. Someone was following her. "Maya," a voice called from the darkness. It wasn't Ellie. It wasn't Officer Grayson. It was her own voice. She froze. From the shadows emerged a figure, her but older. Her face was gaunt, her eyes hollow, as if she had seen unspeakable horrors. "I've been trying to help you," the older Maya said, her voice shaking. "But every time I try to fix it, I make it worse." Maya stepped back. "What are you talking about? Why are you doing this?" The older Maya's lips trembled. "Because if you don't make the right choices, I'll be trapped in this nightmare forever. And so will you." "I don't understand," Maya screamed. "You will," the older Maya whispered, stepping closer. "The texts, the warnings, they're all part of the loop. It's the only way to keep us alive." Before Maya could respond, a deafening roar erupted behind her. She turned just in time to see a blinding light swallowing the forest. Final scene. Maya wakes up in her bed, gasping for air. Her phone buzzes. She hesitantly picks it up, only to see a message. Maya, don't leave the house tomorrow at 8:15 a.m. Her face twists in horror as the realization dawns. She's back at the beginning. The screen fades to black with the sound of a message notification echoing in the silence.